First of all, thank you for co-creating this experience with me. I love being here. I love all my friends and the energy and the vibration. My life is fabulous, and I'm just living it. Awesome. You had talked about something yesterday that I had wanted to talk to you about the last time I saw you, and it was about what thoughts we're thinking and what thoughts are inspired to us. And
I think it's important to think about whether I'm projecting a thought or whether I'm receiving the thought.
Right. And you had talked that Esther had seen the movie The Arrival. Really quick, do you go to the movies with her, or does she translate that to you?
We go everywhere with everyone.
Okay. So in that movie, it was very fascinating to me, and that movie changed how I really understood even more what you're telling me. That I put a thought of my desire into the future, and I'm actually creating into that future. So I see the future of what I want, and I'm creating to that future. So
it can be like that, but that's a harder way of thinking about it. Look at it more this way. I lived some life and I preferred that, and I lived some more life and I preferred that, and I lived some more life and I preferred that, and I lived some more life and I preferred that. And all of these preferences have come together into a magnificent culmination of who I am and how I like to feel and how I want to live. Every desire and every preference is all rolled up into that, but it is vibration to which focus can be applied, and therefore momentum will ensue, which will then accomplish further and further creation. We don't want to make it sound like it's already created. We want you to understand that you've created the essence of it, and now you get to bring it all the way home. Now you get to perceive it into being, because it's that moment by moment, step by step, perceiving it into being that is the delicious part of life experience. Humans often don't get that. They think, if I could just get over there, I'd be happy. And we want to say, oh, what you really want to do is have the delicious experience of moving from here to here and here to here and here to here and here to here. It's the evolution of it that is what is really ringing your bell.
And adjusting it as it's going, because you see, I didn't like it that warm, a little cold, a little this, a little, and you're adjusting that along the way with your preferences.
Well, here's the thing. What that's talking about, what you just described is, so let's just say you knew what you wanted and you know what you didn't want, and you filled your vortex full of stuff. Let's just say that. And so here is this magnificent, what you want to call potential, because you can't see it and hear it and smell it and touch it yet, but it exists as an emotional state of being. And it exists as a potential to be experienced fully, to be tasted, to be experienced fully. So let's say that you meditate and you're getting really good at it and you're often in the receiving mode, and so things are just occurring to you and you're just having the most lovely of times, like you described. You're meeting people that are nice to be with, you're having wonderful conversations, you feel satisfied in your being and in your thoughts, you're glad to be alive, you feel productive and exhilarated, and life's just going really, really well for you. And then, not for a moment, something happens. And it's during that clarifying experience that you put more clarification back into the vortex. In the process of getting ready to get ready to get ready, you might trip on some facet of it that you want to give further definition about what you prefer about. So you put more into the vortex. So you got ready to get ready to get ready, but then something happened that made you realize you weren't ready for what was next quite yet. Does that make sense to you?
Exactly.
So that's why you keep moving from step 1 to 3 and 1 to 3. Step 1 is, you ask. Step 2 is source answers, and law of attraction gathers the cooperative components, and then your inner being offers a steady stream of impulse and inspiration. And step 3 is you get into the receiving mode, which means you cause your resistance to subside, and then you get to consciously bring it into being. You get to perceive it into being. You get to receive it, perceive it into being. And if you trip up a little along the way, no worries. You just had a step one moment where you clarified, and then you're just getting ready to get ready to get ready to get ready. And it never ends. That is the ongoing, delicious process of eternal evolution.
And that's what you were saying. It's like step 4 and 5, where you're in 4, 4, 4, 4, 4, little 5. Oh, that's no big deal. I just want that. And 5, 5, 4, 4, 4.
Step 4 is just being really good at step 3, because you're meditating often every day. You're finding your balance. You're steady most of the time. You have step 1 moments, sure, but they don't upset you. They clarify. And then step 5 is when you are consciously aware that you're stepping back into step 1, and you embrace it because you know it's part of the process. You know that you could not have clarified that desire if you had not had that experience that gave you more reason to clarify that desire.
So now I want you to talk to me a little bit more about when I'm thinking a thought and when I'm receiving an inspiration.
Yeah. So first clue is that when you're receiving inspiration, it's satisfying. When you're receiving a thought, that means you're in the receptive mode. You feel the rightness of it, you feel the exhilaration of it, and it usually quickly moves you to the desire to move toward it in some form of action, to say something, to go somewhere, to do something. When you're thinking a thought, it's often a thought about...
Yeah. I get it, in a circle. It's a circular thought of and you're thinking it around.
Let us make a strong statement to you. When you are focused on a problem, you cannot think your way out of it. This is in answer to your question. When you're focused on a problem, you cannot think your way out of it. You can only think your way deeper into it, because law of attraction will only bring you more of whatever the problem is. But during that process, while you are thinking of the problem, you're going to like this so much.
I can tell.
What's your inner being doing? While you're thinking of the problem, what's your inner being doing?
Holding steady on what I want.
When you're thinking of the problem, what's your inner being doing? Thinking of the solution. So when you're thinking of the problem, when you ask, it is given. Yes? So when you're thinking of the problem, your inner being is thinking of the solution. But how can you start receiving the inspiration from your inner being of the solution? You've got to deactivate the problem. Because if you've got both going on, you're not going to get it. That's one powerful way that you can tell when you're projecting thought and when you're receiving thought. Now, does that mean, oh, we like this conversation so much. Does that mean that you never get to think a thought when you're in line with source energy? Not at all. Because when you are in that receiving mode and the thought is occurring to you, you're the one that's translating that vibration into the more vivid conversation.
Like we're doing right now.
Precisely. And then it becomes this sort of give and take. Life is yielding it to you, and you're eating up. That's ready to be 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 ready. Esther is in the mode of receiving now. She made sure that she's in the receiving mode. So she's just waiting for the block of thought to occur to her. She's translating it at an unconscious level. And when she's first aware of it, it's when it's coming out into this arena. In other words, she's not aware of what's coming before. So it's like that with all of you. But when you're thinking a thought, think about it. Think about when you think about it.
No, don't.
No, don't. Think about when you're thinking a thought. Can't you feel the effort in it? Mm-hmm. Can't you feel the difference between receiving a thought and thinking a thought? And isn't there effort in thinking the thought? How many times have you heard of famous people, sometimes inventors, scientists, sometimes philosophers, who have got stuck on something and then they take a 20-minute nap? And during that nap, the answer comes to them because they suspend the activation of their struggle with the problem, and they allow their clearly stated question to be answered by their quieted mind. Did we get there for you?
Yeah. I love the interaction when you are aligned, that enthusiastic bouncing off, because like you said, you have that inspiration and instantly you have the idea of what to do almost immediately about it or how to take action on that. And that's where I want to stay all the time. And I don't know why I go into those other places from time to time, because it feels so good and it's so natural and it's so what it's supposed to be. And I want to be in that place where I create worlds and I'm connected to all that has been and you and everything. And I just wonder, why do I go out of that?
Let's not make it feel so lofty. Let's just make it about real day-to-day life. And let's just make it simply about what feels good and what doesn't feel good. Let's just start feeling for the receiving mode for starts. Let's meditate and have the experience of receiving a thought and consciously acknowledge, oh, I just received that thought. In other words, until you actually quiet your mind down and know that you received a thought, none of this is going to even make any sense to you. But once you start receiving those thoughts, and once you're able to stay in that happy, glorious, good-feeling mood for an hour or 2 or 3, and once you watch the cooperative universe just showering you with good ideas and situations and rendezvous and doors opening and co-creative partners saying this and that and this and that and this and that, you begin to feel the creative dance that we are all a part of. Look at it in nature. We've been breaking it down to the very rudimentary steps here, but we don't want for a moment for you to feel like your life is going to be boring as you slow everything down, because the whole point of it is to slow it down in order to sort of get the resistance at bay a little bit, and then allow the momentum to begin to build. And as you begin living your life, waking up every day with that feeling, then you won't be asking whether you're thinking the thought or receiving the thought, because it won't make any difference, because it's the thought that's translating in your mind. And it will feel to you like the whole universe, or at least the universe that is revolving around you, knows exactly what you mean and is right there meaning it with you. We're talking about cooperative components surrounding you, not uncooperative components surrounding you. We're talking about getting all of the chaos and the discord and the hatred out of your personal experience, because you have brought yourself to a place where you are in sync with who you really are. And that is such a powerful and compelling point of attraction. When you are in sync with your inner being, and all of that your inner being has attracted on your behalf and is attracting on your behalf, doors open everywhere. People who are watching you will be amazed at what's going on with you, and you will feel the thrill of living your life the way that you have intended to live it, you see. And you won't be lofty or haughty about it. You won't be waving a magic wand around, being powerful and saying, I do this to you and I do this to you. You'll understand that it's your point of attraction, that everything is cooperating with you. And you will feel your power to connect, your power to receive, your power to receive your blessings, your power to acknowledge them, your power to perceive them, your power to translate the vibration of them into reality. And as you get better and better and better of it, you will begin to feel a bit of invincibility. Your doubts about yourself and others will go by the wayside. And then you will begin to appreciate even those who are bothering you the most for the contrasting part that they play in the helping you to clarify what you want. In other words, it's all what makes the world go round. No one will threaten you. You won't feel afraid of them. You won't worry about them gaining power and being unkind to you or to others. You will understand that they're just doing whatever part they're able to play in the moment, and that it's all good, and that it's all of value, and that it all ultimately is for you.
Well, as I sit here in the hot seat, speaking with infinite intelligence in the middle of an ocean in a beautiful cruise surrounded by all my friends, I don't know. That's pretty much right where I want to be.
We think
Thank
it's
you.
Wonderful. Enough?
Yes, I love you.
Really
Thank
good.
you.
Really good. Really good.